Imagine collapsing at your own wedding while your husband dances with another woman. For Claire Bennett, that nightmare became real. 7 months pregnant, heart pounding, vision fading. She hit the marble floor as the crowd gasped. But when she opened her eyes, it wasn't her husband holding her hand. It was her billionaire ex. What happened next would uncover a secret affair, a ruthless mistress, and a chilling plan to steal not just Claire's husband, but her unborn child. Betrayal, manipulation, revenge, and a woman's fight to rise from the ashes. Stay till the end, because justice will come. And trust me, you'll want to see how. If this story hooks you already, smash that like, drop your thoughts in the comments, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking, true drama tales that will keep your heart racing till the very last second. The chandelier crystals blurred into stars. That's what Claire remembered later. Not the pain, not the fear, just those impossible, beautiful stars spinning above her as the marble floor rushed up to meet her face. 7 months pregnant, standing alone in a ballroom full of 200 people, watching her husband dance with another woman. Claire Bennett pressed one hand against her swollen belly. The baby kicked hard, urgent, as if even her unborn daughter knew something was terribly wrong. Derek's hand rested too low on Vanessa Monroe's back. His fingers splayed across red silk. The fabric clung to every curve, announcing what Claire had tried to ignore for 3 months. This woman wanted everything Claire had. Vanessa leaned close, whispered something. They both laughed. The sound carried across the ballroom, sharp as breaking glass. Claire's vision tunneled. The edges went dark, then sparkled. Her knees buckled. The last thing she heard was the music stopping. The sudden awful silence, then screaming, then nothing. Then Marwa. Earlier that morning, Claire had sat in her car in the parking lot of the Hartley estate, unable to walk inside. She checked her phone. Lock, unlock, lock. Everything was not fine. Claire had lost 20 pounds. 20 pounds while 7 months pregnant. Her doctor had asked careful questions about stress, about eating, about home life. Claire had lied. Said she was fine. Said Derek was supportive. All lies. The truth sat in her chest like a stone. Derek was having an affair with Vanessa Monroe, his marketing director. Claire had known for 3 months. She'd found the text, confronted Derek once. He'd called her hormonal, paranoid, made it about her insecurity. Grace, Derek's mother, had been worse. Marriage is hard, dear. You can't run to me every time Derek doesn't give you enough attention. You're about to be a mother. Act like an adult. So Claire had stopped talking, stopped eating much, started disappearing into herself until she felt like a ghost haunting her own life. Her phone buzzed. Derek, where are you? Mom's asking. Get inside. Not, are you okay? Just an order. Claire took 3 deep breaths, walked toward the estate where her mother-in-law ruled like a queen and her husband danced attendance on everyone except his pregnant wife. Just get through today, she told herself. She made it through the ceremony, through cocktails, sipping water while her stomach twisted in knots. Through the receptions beginning, sitting alone while Derek networked, while Grace held court, while Vanessa appeared in that red dress and every man turned to look, including Derek, especially Derek. Claire watched him cross the ballroom, ask Vanessa to dance, watch them move together like they'd practiced, like they fit. Something inside Claire that had been bending for months finally broke. She stood, the room tilted. Someone asked if she was all right. She nodded, tried to walk toward the bathroom, toward air, toward anywhere but here. Then the stars came, and Claire fell. Voices came first, muffled, urgent, collapsed. Pregnant, she's... Move back. Claire's eyes fluttered open. Faces swam above her, then a voice cut through like a knife, deep, commanding, familiar. Clear back. She needs air, now. The crowd parted, and there, pushing through, was Jonathan Pierce. John, her ex, her first love. The billionaire tech entrepreneur she'd left 6 years ago because his intensity scared her. God, she'd been stupid. John dropped to his knees beside her. His hands were gentle, checking her pulse. Claire, can you hear me? She nodded, tried to speak. Her throat was dry. Don't talk. Paramedics are coming. Someone else knelt beside her. Vanessa's face arranged in fake concern. She leaned close, whispered, "You're making a scene, Claire. How embarrassing for Derek." John's hand shot out, physically moving Vanessa aside. Her mask slipped. Pure hatred flashed before she schooled her features. Claire's internal voice spoke with terrible clarity. "She wants me gone. Actually gone." "Where's her husband?" John demanded. Claire turned her head. Derek stood 10 feet away, phone in hand, his mother beside him, gesturing wildly. Neither had come to Claire's side. John's jaw tightened. He stripped off his jacket, placed it under Claire's head. "It's going to be okay. I've got you." The paramedics arrived, asked questions. John answered most because Claire's tongue felt thick. 7 months pregnant, she collapsed. I caught her head before impact. They loaded her onto the stretcher. Derek finally approached. "Babe, you okay? You just need to sit down, right? The cake hasn't even been cut yet." John stepped between them. "Your pregnant wife collapsed. The cake can wait." "Who the hell are you?" "Jonathan Pierce, and I'm actually concerned about Claire's welfare." Grace gasped. "You're the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart." "No," Claire whispered. Everyone turned to look at her. "I broke his, and I've regretted it every day since." The words hung in the air. Derek's face flushed. Vanessa looked furious. As they wheeled Claire out, Derek called, "I'll meet you there. I need to handle the guests." Vanessa's voice drifted after them. "Don't worry, Derek. I'll help you handle everything." John climbed into the ambulance without asking. His expression said everything. "I see exactly what's happening here." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry. For all of it. For leaving you. For choosing wrong. For being so broken." "You're not broken," John said quietly. "You're surviving." The ambulance doors closed. Sirens started. Claire closed her eyes, feeling the baby move, feeling John's steady presence. When did I become less important than cake, she thought. When did I become so small? The hospital smelled like antiseptic and desperation. Claire lay on a bed in the emergency room, the fetal heart monitor beeping steadily. John sat in the corner chair. He hadn't left. The silence between them wasn't uncomfortable. It was the silence of two people who'd once known each other completely. A nurse checked Claire's vitals, did the ultrasound. "Baby looks good, strong heartbeat. The doctor will be in shortly." After she left, John spoke. "When did you last eat, Claire?" She tried to think. "I don't remember." "Yesterday?" "Maybe, I don't know." John's hands tightened on the armrests. "How long has this been going on?" "Which part?" "All of it." Claire turned to look at him. At 38, Jonathan Pierce had grown into himself. The intensity was still there, but tempered with wisdom. She'd left him because she couldn't handle that intensity, because she'd wanted normal, stable, easy. She'd gotten Derek instead. "I found out about the affair 3 months ago," Claire said. Vanessa Monroe, his marketing director. Marketing. The texts were explicit. Something dangerous flickered in John's eyes. "You confronted him?" "Once. He said I was hormonal, paranoid, made it about my insecurity." Claire laughed bitterly. "I apologized to him for being upset that my husband was sleeping with another woman." Claire. "And Grace told me marriage was hard, that I needed to stop running to her, that I was about to be a mother and needed to act like an adult." Claire's hands rested on her belly. "So I stopped talking, stopped eating much, started just trying to get through each day." The monitor beeped. The baby's heartbeat continued its steady rhythm. "I've lost 20 pounds, Claire continued. 20 pounds while 7 months pregnant. My body is consuming itself." And Derek didn't notice. Or didn't care. John stood abruptly, paced to the window. "Where is he right now?" "At the wedding, handling the guests." His pregnant wife collapsed, and he's handling guests. "That's who he is, John. I just didn't see it." John turned back. "It's not too late. I'm 7 months pregnant with his child. That doesn't mean you're trapped." Claire's hands started shaking. She tried to tie the hospital gown, but her fingers wouldn't cooperate. John was at her side in 2 strides. Without asking, he took the strings and tied them gently. Such a small thing, such an intimate gesture. Claire broke. The sobs came hard, tearing through her chest. John sat on the bed's edge, and she turned into him. "I've been invisible for so long," Claire whispered. "I forgot I could be seen." John's arms came around her carefully. "I see you, Claire. I never stopped." When Claire finally pulled back, John handed her a tissue. "Thank you." "For what?" "For being here. For not saying I told you so." "I'm not thinking that at all. I'm thinking that Derek presented himself as something he wasn't. That abusers are good at making you believe the problem is you." Claire's breath caught. Abuser. That's a strong word. Is it? He's having an affair, making you question reality. He's isolated you. Your body is literally shutting down from stress. What would you call it? The door opened. Dr. Margaret Collins entered. "Mrs. Hartley, I have your test results." Claire sat up. "Is the baby okay?" "The baby is fine. Strong heartbeat, good movement." Dr. Collins paused. "You, however, are not fine." The words hung in the air. Dr. Collins pulled up a chair. "You're severely dehydrated, stress hormones elevated to dangerous levels, early signs of preeclampsia. Your body is in crisis mode. What's happening at home?" Claire opened her mouth, closed it. "My husband is having an affair." Dr. Collins nodded, unsurprised. "When did you last eat a full meal?" "I don't remember." "Sleep?" 3 or 4 hours a night. "Support system?" "My husband's family. My best friend Steph, but I've been avoiding her." Dr. Collins made notes. "Mrs. Hartley, I'm going to be direct. If you go back to your current situation, I'm concerned for both your health and your baby's health. You need bed rest, proper nutrition, and you need to be away from whatever is causing this trauma." "I don't have anywhere to go," Claire said quietly. John spoke up. "Yes, you do." Both women looked at him. "I have a guest house," John said to Claire. "Private, secure. You could stay there, rest, be safe." Dr. Collins looked between them. "You're an old friend," John said smoothly. "Someone who actually cares about Claire's well-being." Claire wanted to argue, but the truth was, she had nowhere else. Derek's house was in his mother's name. "I can't impose." "You're not imposing. I'm offering." Dr. Collins stood. "I'm discharging you with strict instructions for bed rest, hydration, and stress reduction. Follow up in 3 days. If symptoms worsen, come back immediately." After the doctor left, Claire looked at John. "This is crazy." "What's crazy is going back to where your husband's mistress has a key and your mother-in-law treats you like an inconvenience." "How did you know Vanessa has a key?" "The way she looked at you, like she already owns everything. Women like that don't wait to be invited in." Claire shivered. "She whispered to me, said I was making a scene, that it was embarrassing for Derek." John's expression went cold. "Where is Derek now?" As if summoned, the door opened. Derek walked in 2 hours after his wife had collapsed. He smelled like champagne. There was a lipstick smudge on his collar. Vanessa's shade. "Hey, baby's okay, right? Mom said you're fine." "Not, are you okay?" Just confirmation. Claire looked at this man as she'd married. Really looked. Saw the way his eyes slid away. Saw him checking his phone even now. "Your mother didn't come check on me herself?" Derek's expression shifted to defensive. "She's handling the guests. You know how she is." "And I don't matter?" "Don't be dramatic. You are fine. The baby's fine." John stood. He was taller than Derek, radiating an energy that made Derek step back. "Your wife collapsed," John said, voice ice. "Pregnant. Where were you?" Derek finally registered John. "What the hell are you doing here, Pierce?" "Being present. You should try it. This is family business. I'm here and you weren't. So who's really family?" The door opened again. Vanessa walked in carrying coffee. Still in the red dress, she smiled at Derek like Claire wasn't there. "Thought you might need this, babe. I mean, Derek." The slip was intentional. Claire saw it in Vanessa's eyes. Claire's eyes widened. John's hands clenched. Vanessa turned to Claire with false sweetness. "How are you feeling? We were all so worried." "Well, Derek was worried. I told him you'd be fine. You're strong. Stronger than you look." The implication? Claire looked weak. "Why are you here, Vanessa?" Claire asked. "I drove Derek. He was too upset to drive." "Liar," Claire said. Vanessa's smile didn't waver. Excuse me? You're lying. You followed him because you can't stand him spending even an hour focused on me. Derek protested. Vanessa's mask slipped. For one moment, Claire saw the truth, the calculation, the malice. I think you're confused, Vanessa said. The stress, the pregnancy, it's affecting your judgment. We? Claire repeated. There is no we. You're his employee, his mistress, his midlife crisis, not his family. Not yet, Vanessa said quietly. The threat hung in the air. John stepped forward. Hospital policy. Family only. You're not family. Vanessa looked at Derek, waiting. Derek looked at the floor. Fine, Vanessa said. As she passed Claire's bed, she leaned in, whispered, He's mine now. And soon that baby will be too. You're just the incubator. Then she was gone, leaving poison in the air. Claire felt the baby kick hard, urgent. I'm not going home, Claire said. Derek looked up. What? I'm not going back to that mousy. Not tonight. Not until things change. Claire, you're being ridiculous. I'm being honest. Finally. I'm done. Where will you go? Claire looked at John. He nodded once. Somewhere safe, she said. It's somewhere away from you and your mother and your girlfriend. This is insane. What will people think? And there it was. What mattered most to Derek. Not his wife's health, not his unborn child's safety. Appearances. I don't care anymore, Claire said, and she meant it. Dr. Collins returned with discharge papers. John helped Claire stand. Derek just stood in the doorway, looking lost and angry. I'll call you, Derek said. Don't, Claire replied. She walked out on John's arm, leaving behind her husband, her old life, and the illusion that any of this had been working. The baby kicked again. Claire put her hand on her belly and whispered, I know, sweetheart. Things are about to change. Will's guest house was warm, minimalist but comfortable. Cream walls, natural wood floors, windows overlooking a garden where jasmine climbed and roses bloomed. Complete privacy, John said. The fridge is stocked. Everything you need should be here. Claire stood in the living room, feeling displaced. John, I can't. Yes, you can. You can stay here and rest and take care of yourself and that baby. After everything I did, leaving you, choosing Derek. John turned to face her. Claire, stop. You made a choice 6 years ago. It didn't work out. That doesn't mean you deserve to suffer. That doesn't mean you don't deserve help now. But why would you help me? Did I break your heart? Or did you just make a different choice? We were intense, maybe too intense. You wanted different things. That's not betrayal. That's life. Claire felt tears building. I should have fought harder. For us. Derek isn't easier. He's just a different kind of difficult. The kind that makes you disappear instead of burn. The words hit like a physical blow, true and devastating. John showed her the bedroom. Beautiful. A king bed with white linens, windows to the garden, an ensuite bathroom with a deep tub. I'll never want to leave, Claire said. Then don't. Stay as long as you need. John, will you stay? Just for a little while. Just be in the room. I don't want to be alone. He nodded, sat in the chair by the window. Claire lay on the bed, fully clothed, and closed her eyes. The silence was different here. Not heavy with tension, just quiet, peaceful. I made so many mistakes, Claire whispered. You made choices, John replied. There's a difference. I chose wrong. You chose what you thought you wanted. That's all anyone can do. Claire opened her eyes. Why did I really leave you? What do you think? I was scared of how much I felt, of how completely you saw me, of losing myself. And did you, with Derek? Yes, but differently. With you, I was afraid I'd burn up. With Derek, I just faded away. The baby kicked. Claire put her hand on her belly. Starting over feels impossible, Claire said, but staying feels like dying. Then you don't stay. Claire's phone started buzzing. Derek's name, again and again. 5 calls ignored. Then Grace. 3 missed calls, then unknown numbers. You don't have to answer, John said, but Claire looked at the text anyway. Grace, where are you? Grace, this is so embarrassing. Grace, guests are asking questions. Grace, you're ruining Derek's family's reputation. 43 texts, not one asked if Claire was okay. then 3 from an unknown number. Hope you're okay, Claire. Don't worry about the party. Derek is handling everything. I'm helping. Some women just aren't strong enough for pregnancy. No shame in that. Vanessa. Claire knew it. John, look at these. She handed him the phone. His jaw tightened as he read. This is harassment, emotional abuse. You know that, right? I know Vanessa wants me gone. It's more than that. This is calculated, strategic. She's building a narrative where you're unstable, weak, unfit. Claire felt something shift. Recognition. I'm not crazy, she said out loud. This is actually happening. Yes, it is. So what do I do? John stood, came to sit on the bed's edge. You rest, you eat. Tomorrow we start figuring out next steps, lawyers, documentation, options. I can't afford a lawyer. I can. John, so let me help Claire. Claire was so tired of fighting alone. Okay, she whispered. Okay, I'll let you help. After John left, Claire lay in the growing darkness, listening to garden sounds through the window. She placed both hands on her belly, felt her daughter moving. It's just us now, Claire whispered. You and me, and we're going to be okay. The baby kicked in response. Claire closed her eyes and for the first time in months, fell into deep, dreamless sleep. Morning came with sunlight and birdsong. Claire woke disoriented, then remembered. The wedding, the collapse, John's guest house. She'd slept 12 hours. In the kitchen, she found a note in John's handwriting. Doctor said 3 meals. This is 1. Fresh strawberries and yogurt in fridge. Prenatal vitamins beside water glass. Take them. J. Beside the note sat vitamins and water. In the fridge, strawberries, yogurt, bread, eggs, cheese, vegetables, milk, juice. Everything she needed. Claire started crying. Not despair, gratitude, relief. She forced herself to eat. Yogurt with strawberries, toast with butter, vitamins, water. Her stomach had shrunk, but she kept going. Her phone buzzed. Steph. Where are you? Derek called asking if you were here. Grace called saying you'd lost your mind. What's going on? Claire typed back. Long story. Can you come to this address? She sent the location. Bring anything from my office that looks important. 3 dots. Be there in an hour. Claire showered, changed into clean clothes John had somehow provided. New, her size. Maternity leggings, a soft shirt. She was in the garden when Steph arrived, carrying a large box. Stephanie Walker had been Claire's best friend since college. Tall, practical, a high school English teacher who didn't suffer fools. Okay, Steph said, pulling Claire into a careful hug. Start talking. Everything. So Claire told her all of it. The affair, the gaslighting, the weight loss, the collapse, John, Vanessa's threats, everything spilled out. When she finished, Steph was silent. Then, I'm going to kill him. Actually, kill Derek Hartley. Get in line behind John. Speaking of the billionaire ex, you're staying with him? In his guest house. He's being helpful without being overbearing. And the one you left because you were scared of how much you loved him? Yes. Steph shook her head. Life is weird. Life is a nightmare. No, Derek is a nightmare. This? Steph gestured at the garden. This is you finally accepting help from someone who gives a damn. I went to your house, Steph continued. Derek wasn't there, but Vanessa was. Claire's blood ran cold. What? She was in your nursery, rearranging furniture. She saw me and said, just helping Derek prepare. Claire's not coming back here. Then she smiled. She's moving in. Not if you have anything to say about it, which is why I grabbed everything from your office. Steph opened the box. Claire's journal, laptop, USB drive labeled household accounts. Claire reached for the laptop with shaking hands, went to email. There they were, emails from Vanessa to Derek. Claire seemed stressed. Maybe she shouldn't be working. I'm worried about her mental state. Is she eating? Have you thought about what happens if she can't care for the baby? You'd need help. I'm here. Building a case, creating a narrative. And Derek's responses. You're right, she has been acting strange. Maybe we should document this. I've been keeping notes. They'd been planning it, together, for months. Claire looked at Steph. They're trying to get custody. Vanessa doesn't just want Derek, she wants my baby. Over my dead body, Steph said. But they both knew it wasn't simple. Derek had money, Grace had connections, and Claire had collapsed at a public event and left her husband. On paper, she looked unstable. I need help, Claire said. Real help, a lawyer, documentation, evidence. Then let's get you help, Steph replied. What does John say? That he'll hire someone to investigate, that I should rest and let him handle logistics. Smart man, listen to him. I don't want to be helpless. You're not. You're a pregnant woman in crisis who's smart enough to accept help. There's a difference between being helpless and being helped. The truth settled into Claire's bones. She'd been so determined to handle everything alone that she'd let herself be isolated. Call John, Claire said. Tell him I need that investigator and a lawyer, the best he can find. Steph smiled. Now you're talking. Claire looked down at her belly, at her daughter who would be born into whatever world Claire created. I'm not going to just survive anymore, Claire said. I'm going to fight. The baby kicked hard, as if in approval. Claire felt something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. Fragile and new, but real. She was done disappearing. Done being the incubator, the inconvenience, the problem. It was time to be Claire again. 2 days later, John arrived at the guest house with someone new. Claire, this is Detective Lauren Hayes, former FBI, now private investigator. The best. Detective Hayes was 45, iron gray hair, sharp blue eyes, no-nonsense demeanor. She spread files across the coffee table. Vanessa Monroe, Hayes began, born Vanessa Pritchard, changed her name 7 years ago. Claire leaned forward. Changed her name? After her first marriage ended badly, Hayes pulled out photographs, 3 different women at different times, one outside a courthouse, looking devastated, another with visible bruises, a third signing papers, face hollow. Who are they? Claire asked, though she knew. Their eyes were too familiar. Vanessa's previous targets, Jennifer Martin, fell downstairs when 8 months pregnant, lost the baby, lost custody of her toddler son. Husband married Vanessa 6 months later. Claire's hand went to her belly. Rachel Stone had a mental breakdown requiring hospitalization, signed away rights to her infant daughter after 6 months of harassment. Husband married Vanessa a year later. And the third, John asked? John on phone. Michelle Porter, fought hard, kept her son, but Vanessa made her life hell for years. Michelle finally moved across the country to escape. Claire felt sick. Where are the children now? Jennifer's son is with his paternal grandparents. Vanessa lost custody after the father died in a suspicious car accident. Rachel's daughter is in foster care. Vanessa abandoned her at 5. Michelle's son is with his mother in Oregon, safe but traumatized. The pattern was clear, terrifying, methodical. She targets pregnant women specifically, Hayes continued, gets close to the husband, isolates the wife, builds a case for unfitness, then moves in. She wants babies, not children. Once they age out of cute, she loses interest, sometimes dangerously so. How is she not in prison? Steph demanded. She's careful, no charges stuck, she's good at making wives look like the problem. Claire looked at the emails, at Vanessa's careful documentation. Derek doesn't know, Claire said. Does he? I doubt it. She reinvents herself. New name, new city, new victim. Hayes met Claire's eyes. But that doesn't excuse his behavior. He chose to build a case against you. John spoke. What do we need to stop her? Evidence from this relationship, current proof of harassment, manipulation, conspiracy. We can bring in previous victims, show the pattern, but we need current proof. Claire understood. You want to set a trap. I want to give her enough rope to hang herself. Narcissist West can't help but gloat. If we give her the opportunity to think she's won, she'll confess. How? Hayes pulled out documents. You agree to sign temporary custody to Derek. We arrange a meeting at a lawyer's office. Everyone there, Derek, Vanessa, Grace, lawyers, hidden cameras. I'll be present as a neutral witness. We make Vanessa think she's won. And then she'll tell you exactly what she's done. she won't help herself. And we'll have her on tape confessing to conspiracy, harassment, fraud, emotional abuse. Claire's hands shook. What if it doesn't work? John took her hand. Then I have 12 other lawyers ready. But I think Hayes is right. Vanessa won't resist. Claire thought about the woman in red, the whispered threat. You're just the incubator. When? Claire asked. Soon, while you're still pregnant and vulnerable, while she thinks she's won. Okay, Claire said, voice steady despite everything screaming inside. Let's do it. 3 days of preparation. John hired lawyers, real ones, the kind who won impossible cases. They prepared documents, arranged the meeting, made everything look legitimate. Hayes briefed Claire on what to expect, how to act, how to let Vanessa's words flow without interrupting. Steph stayed close, helping Claire practice staying calm. And Claire waited, rested, ate the meals John left, felt her daughter moving, unaware of the battle being fought. On the third day, her phone rang. Derek, she answered. Hello. Claire, like Derek's voice was strained. We need to talk about the baby, about arrangements. My lawyer wants to meet. Tomorrow. Okay. You'll come? I'll come. Derek sounded relieved, like he'd expected more fight. Good, I'll text you the address. After he hung up, Claire looked at John and Hayes. He thinks he's won, Hayes said with satisfaction. Perfect. That night, Claire couldn't sleep. She lay watching shadows, feeling the baby's restless movements matching her anxiety. A soft knock. Claire, you awake? John's voice. Yes, come in. He entered with 2 mugs of tea, handed her one, herbal, pregnancy safe, sat in the chair. Nervous? Terrified. That's normal. What if she doesn't confess? What if... Claire? Stop. You can only control what you do. What you're doing is protecting your daughter. That's enough. Claire sipped on tea. Chamomile with honey. John, why are you doing all this? You don't owe me anything. I left you. John was quiet then. Do you remember the night we met? At the art gallery, my first show. You were 26, terrified. I watched you for an hour before I talked to you. You, nervous? Around you, always. You were looking at your paintings like you couldn't believe you'd created them, like they were miracles. And I thought, this is someone special. John, let me finish. I fell in love with you that night. Not with what you could give me or how you made me look. With you, when you left, it hurt. But I understood. I was intense, consuming, so I let you go. Claire's eyes filled with tears. When I saw you collapse at that wedding, saw how your husband ignored you, saw that predator circling, there was no question. I was going to help, not because I expect us to get back together, not because I expect anything in return, but because you're Claire, and you deserve better. I don't know what to say. Don't say anything. Just let me help. You've been invisible for so long. Let someone witness you being visible again. They sat in silence, drinking tea, while tomorrow waited. Why did I really leave you? Claire asked again. Because you were scared. Of what? Of being consumed, of losing yourself, of burning so bright you'd forget who you were. And did I lose myself? Yes, but not with me, with Derek. You chose water over fire and ended up drowning. The metaphor landed hard. I don't want to drown anymore, Claire whispered. Then tomorrow you swim, you fight, you show them who you really are. What if I don't remember who that is? You will. The moment you need to, you'll remember. John stayed, sitting while Claire lay in bed, both quiet, both thinking about tomorrow. Feel that? Claire whispered as the baby kicked. I can see it. She's strong. Like her mother, John said, whether you remember it yet or not. Claire closed her eyes, holding on to that thought, that somewhere underneath the fear and trauma, she was still herself, still strong. Tomorrow she'd prove it. The lawyer's office was downtown, all glass and steel and expensive furniture designed to intimidate. Claire walked in with John on one side and her lawyer, Patricia Reynolds, sharp as a knife, on the other. Detective Hayes was already there, dressed as a legal secretary, setting up cameras disguised as office equipment. Derek and Vanessa arrived together. That said everything. Vanessa wore designer clothes and confidence. Grace swept in behind them, dripping judgment. They sat around the conference table. Derek's lawyer, Thomas Brennan, spread out papers. Temporary custody agreement, giving Derek primary custody with Vanessa listed as secondary caregiver. It made Claire sick, but she kept her face neutral, defeated, broken. Mrs. Hartley, Brennan began, this is for the best. You've been under stress. The collapse, your health issues. I'm not unstable, Claire said quietly. Vanessa leaned forward with false concern. Claire, everyone understands you're going through difficulties. No one's blaming you. But the baby needs stability. People who can care for her properly. People like you. People like Derek, and whoever he chooses to help. Grace spoke. Derek is her father. He has rights. Claire looked at her mother-in-law. I'm not keeping her from anyone. I'm protecting her. From what? Grace demanded. Her father? From people who see her as a possession instead of a person. Vanessa's expression flickered, then smoothed. Derek loves his daughter. We both do. We, Claire repeated. You're not her mother. You're her father's mistress. I'm Derek's partner, Vanessa said coolly, and I'll be more present than you have been capable of. Let's be honest. You've been falling apart for months. The weight loss, the anxiety, the paranoia. Derek's been worried sick. Mom, worried enough to comfort himself with you. Derek shifted uncomfortably. Claire, this isn't helping, it's about... What would help, Derek? You admitting you've been having an affair? Admitting you and Vanessa built a case to make me look unfit? That's not... We weren't... Derek looked at his lawyer. Brennan intervened. Mrs. Hartley, these accusations aren't productive. What's productive is truth. Patricia Reynolds spoke. My client would like clarification on why Ms. Monroe needs to be listed as secondary caregiver. Vanessa's eyes gleamed. This was the moment she'd been waiting for. Claire could see it. I'll be there to support Derek, Vanessa said, to help with childcare decisions, providing stability Claire can't offer. Let's be realistic. Claire's mental state is fragile. She left her husband to stay with her ex-boyfriend. She's isolated herself. She's exhibiting classic signs of instability. That's not a diagnosis, Patricia said flatly. The point is, she needs help, and I'm offering it. I've always wanted children. I'm good with children. This baby deserves better than a mother who collapses at family events. Claire clenched her fists. Stay calm. Let her talk. Why do you want my baby, Vanessa? I don't want your baby. I want to help Derek raise his child properly. Is there a difference? Because it sounds like you want to replace me, like you want to be the mother while I'm just the woman who gave birth. Vanessa's smile was cold. Claire, you're being paranoid. This is exactly the unstable thinking that worries Derek. Derek, Claire said, turning to her husband, do you understand what's happening? Do you know who Vanessa really is? Derek looked uncomfortable. She's been supportive, understanding, everything you haven't been. Because she's isolating you from me. Building a narrative, making you think I'm a problem. It's what she does. It's what she's always done. What are you talking about? Why don't you ask Vanessa about her previous marriages? About Jennifer Martin and Rachel Stone and Michelle Porter? Vanessa went very still. I don't know who those people are. Really? Because they know you. They know your pattern. Pregnant women, married men, slowly taking over until the wife is gone. That's insane, Vanessa said, but her voice had an edge now. Is it because Detective Hayes investigated you, found 3 previous cases of you doing exactly this, building cases against pregnant women, harassing them, taking their children? Derek looked at Vanessa. Is this true? Of course not. She's making things up because she's desperate. She knows she's losing. Claire felt anger rising, controlled, focused. I've been losing for months, haven't I? Losing weight, losing sleep, losing myself, because you and Derek made sure of it. The emails, the documentation. I was worried about you, Vanessa protested. Concern, not conspiracy. Were you? Let me read one. Have you thought about what happens if she can't care for the baby? You'd need help. I'm here. That's not concern, that's opportunism. Grace interrupted. This is ridiculous. Vanessa has been nothing but kind. Kind? Claire turned to Grace. You texted me 43 times when I collapsed. Not one asked if I was okay. Every single one was about your reputation. That's not kindness. That's narcissistic abuse. Grace's face flushed. How dare you? How dare I what? Tell the truth? Point out that you've spent 2 years making me feel worthless? That you've supported your son's affair and helped isolate me? Silence. Tense. Then Vanessa made her mistake. She smiled, small, satisfied, victorious. You're right, Claire, Vanessa said softly. You're absolutely right. I do want your baby. Derek and I are moving in together next week. We're going to be a family. And you tried to trap Derek with a pregnancy, but it just made him realize how wrong you are for him. How weak, how pathetic. Derek's head snapped toward her. Vanessa, what are you? But Vanessa wasn't done. The need to gloat was too strong. I've done this before, Claire. I know how to spot a desperate woman. I know how to help men escape them. You're not the first wife I've replaced. And that baby, she won't even remember you once I'm done. She'll be mine. Derek's and mine. The family we should have had if you hadn't been in the way. Absolute silence. Derek stared at Vanessa like he'd never seen her. Grace's mouth hung open. Even Brennan looked shocked. Detective Hayes stood. Vanessa Pritchard Monroe, you've just confessed to conspiracy to commit custodial interference, fraud, and emotional abuse. Everything you said was recorded. The door opened. 2 police officers entered. Vanessa's face went from victorious to shocked instantly. What? No, you can't. We have evidence of 2 prior similar schemes in other states. Hayes continued. You're under investigation for multiple felonies. Derek, Vanessa turned desperately. Derek, tell them. But Derek was backing away. You said you loved me, that we were building something real. But this, you planned this? All of it? I do love you. The baby needs proper care, and Claire, you used me to get to her baby. Derek looked sick. Oh my God. Patricia Reynolds spoke. Mr. Hartley, you're not under arrest yet, but I'd recommend a lawyer. These emails show you participated in defaming your pregnant wife. Derek sank into his chair. I didn't know. Vanessa said Claire was unstable, that we needed to document for her own good. I thought I was helping. You thought sleeping with her was helping? John said coldly. Grace tried to stand. I'm leaving. John blocked the door. Not yet. You texted Claire 43 times during her medical emergency. Not one asking if she was okay. That's emotional abuse. I was concerned about the family. You were concerned about reputation. As police handcuffed Vanessa, she screamed at Claire. You don't deserve that baby. You don't deserve Derek. You're nothing. Claire stood, 7 months pregnant, exhausted, traumatized, but finally finding her voice. You're right, Claire said quietly. I don't deserve Derek. I deserve better. And my baby deserves a mother who fights for her. Not one who runs, not one who gives up, and definitely not one like you. Vanessa was still screaming as they let her out. Threats, promises, unhinged fury. After she was gone, Patricia pulled out new documents. Mr. Hartley, my client is willing to settle. Full custody to Mrs. Bennett, substantial child support. Mrs. Bennett keeps all marital assets. You pay legal fees, restraining order, preventing Ms. Monroe from contacting Mrs. Bennett or the child. Your mother barred from unsupervised contact. Derek looked up. Claire, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what she was. But you knew you were building a case against me. You knew you were having an affair while I was pregnant and falling apart. Maybe you didn't know Vanessa's history, but you knew what you were doing was wrong. I thought you thought about yourself, about what you wanted. You didn't think about me. You didn't think about our daughter. He had no answer. Sign the papers, Claire said. Let me and my daughter go. Derek signed. All of it, without reading carefully. Maybe guilt, maybe shame, maybe exhaustion. Grace tried to protest, but one look from Patricia silenced her. When it was done, Claire stood to leave. Derek called after her. Claire, I really am sorry. You meant all of it, Claire said without turning. You just didn't mean to get caught. She walked out on John's arm, Patricia following with signed documents. In the elevator, Claire finally let herself breathe. You did it. John said quietly. We did it. No, you did it. You stood up, you fought, you protected your daughter. Claire looked at her reflection in the elevator doors, 7 months pregnant, exhausted but standing. I remembered, she whispered. Remembered what? Who I was, before all this, before I let fear make me small. I remembered. The elevator doors opened onto the lobby, into sunshine, into freedom, into whatever came next. 2 months passed in a blur of legal paperwork and doctor's appointments and sleeping more than Claire had slept in months. Detective Hayes called regularly. Vanessa Monroe was held without bail. Multiple charges across 3 states. Jennifer Martin, Rachel Stone, Michelle Porter, all willing to testify. The prosecution was building a case for 10 to 15 years. Derek had lost his job. When news leaked, his company's board decided he was too much liability. He'd moved back with Grace, sent weekly requests for supervised visitation. Claire's lawyer handled it. Grace had written letters, long, rambling attempts at apology that mostly justified her behavior. Claire read one, filed it away. Maybe someday she'd forgive Grace, but not today. Claire went into labor on a Tuesday morning in June, early but not dangerously so. She was eating breakfast when the first contraction hit, then another, stronger. Then her water broke. John, Claire called, I think it's time. He appeared within seconds, phone in hand. How far apart? I don't know. I've only had another contraction. Stronger. Hospital. Now. The drive to Cedars-Sinai was a blur. Contractions coming faster. John held her hand. You've got this. You're strong. Easy for you to say. You're not in labor. Fair point. They made it to the hospital. Nurses took over, got Claire into a delivery room, 7 centimeters already, moving fast. Steph arrived first, slightly breathless. I'm here. What do you need? To not be terrified. Too late, but I'll hold your hand anyway. Maggie arrived next, Claire's mother, with practical common sense. She kissed Claire's forehead, squeezed her hand. Mom, let them work. I'm just making sure they know what they're doing. They're labor nurses at one of the best hospitals in LA. I think they know. The hours blurred. Contractions, breathing, pain medication that helped but didn't eliminate intensity, the doctor checking progress. And John standing near the door, present without demanding space, there without taking over. At 4:37 p.m., after 8 hours, Aurora Margaret Bennett entered the world. 6 pounds, 4 ounces, healthy lungs demonstrated immediately, dark hair and searching eyes and perfect tiny fingers. Oh, Claire whispered. Oh, you're perfect. She was perfect, more perfect than Claire had imagined. They cleaned her, swaddled her, placed her in Claire's arms. Something in Claire's chest cracked open. Not breaking, opening. Making room for love, so huge it didn't fit. Hi, sweetheart, Claire whispered. Hi, Aurora, I'm your mom. I've been waiting to meet you. Aurora blinked up with unfocused newborn eyes, made a small noise, settled into Claire's arms like she'd been there forever. Steph was crying, Maggie was crying, even the nurse had misty eyes. Can I? John asked quietly. Claire nodded. He came closer, looked down at Aurora. His expression softened, transformed. She's beautiful, John whispered. She's perfect. Like her mother. Aurora made another sound. Her tiny hand escaped the swaddle, waved in air. John offered his finger. Aurora gripped it immediately. Hello, Aurora, John said softly. Welcome to the world. You're very loved. Claire felt tears, happy tears, relieved tears. The tears of someone who'd fought through hell and made it holding something precious. Her phone buzzed. Derek's lawyer, requesting permission for Derek to visit. Claire looked at Aurora. At this perfect, innocent life who deserved a father who would prioritize her. Derek had never been that father, but maybe, with supervision and boundaries, he could learn, or maybe he couldn't. Time would tell. Not today, Claire said. Tell him not today. Today is for Aurora and me and the people who fought for us. He can meet her next week, under supervision, on my terms. Patricia Reynolds handled the response, firm, clear, no negotiation. The first days passed in a blur of feeding and diapers and very little sleep. Aurora was healthy but demanding, hungry every 2 hours, needing constant holding. "She's got your personality," Steph observed on day 2. "God help us all," Claire replied, smiling. On the third day, Patricia brought news. Vanessa's appeal was denied. Expedited review. Judge said her arguments had no merit. It's over. Completely over. Claire felt tension release, a weight she had been carrying. "That was fast," John said. The prosecutor flagged it for expedited review given Vanessa's history. Judge agreed. She'll serve the full 15 years. No more appeals. Done. "Thank you," Claire said, "for everything." After Patricia left, Claire sat with Aurora in the rocking chair by the window. Sunset painted the sky pink and gold. Aurora was awake, looking around. "You're safe, sweetheart," Claire whispered. "I promise I won't let anyone hurt you. Not Vanessa, not your father, not anyone. You're mine to protect, and I will." Aurora made a small sound. "You're going to have a good life. A complicated life, probably. Your father and I are divorced. Your grandmother might never accept me, but you'll have people who love you. Me, your grandma Maggie, Aunt Steph, and John, who isn't related but will probably be there because that's who he is." Thinking about John made Claire's chest ache, not with sadness, with possibility, gratitude. The door opened. John entered with takeout, Thai from a place Claire loved. "Thought you might be hungry." "Starving." He set up food while Claire ate one-handed, Aurora still cradled against her. "You're a natural," John observed. "I'm terrified." "Both can be true." Claire ate in silence. Then, "John, what happens when we leave here? The guest house, I mean. I can't stay forever." "Why not?" "Because it's your space. Because eventually you'll want your life back." John looked at her steadily. "Claire, you're not imposing. The guest house is yours as long as you need it. Months, years, forever. I can't take advantage. It's not taking advantage if I'm offering freely. You'll be back at the gallery soon, earning your own money. You can pay rent if it makes you feel better." "Would you actually accept rent?" "Probably not, but if it helps, we can pretend." Claire laughed despite herself. "You're impossible." "I'm practical." Aurora stirred. Claire adjusted her, checking for hunger or diaper or just the need to be soothed. "You've learned fast," John said. "Sink or swim. Aurora doesn't give me time to hesitate. She's going to be fierce, like her mother. Or difficult, also like her mother. Those are the same thing." Claire looked at him, at this man who'd been there through the worst and never made her feel weak. "John, I need to say something." "Okay." "When this settles, the trial, Derek, getting stable, I think I want to try. With us. I know you said to take time, and I will, but I'm saying now that I want there to be an us eventually, if you still want that." John was quiet, then smiled, soft, real. "Claire Bennett, you could never burn that bridge. Not completely. Some things don't burn. They just wait until both people are ready. Are you ready?" "I've been ready. The question is whether you're ready." "I'm not yet, not today, but someday. When Aurora's older and chaos settles and I remember who I am outside of being someone's wife or victim or problem. Then I'll be ready. Then I'll wait. You might be waiting a while. I'm very patient when it matters." They sat in silence while Aurora dozed and sunset finished, and their lives continued transforming from nightmare to something better. It wouldn't be easy. There would be hard days. Days when trauma caught up. Days when Derek pushed boundaries. Days when Claire wondered if she was doing everything wrong. But there would also be good days. Days when Aurora smiled for the first time. Days when Claire rediscovered herself. Days when the future felt less like a threat and more like a promise. And through it all, there would be people who saw her, valued her, reminded her she was worth the fight. That was enough. For now, for today. Tomorrow could wait. 1 year later, Aurora took her first steps on a Sunday morning in June, one day after her first birthday. She'd been cruising along furniture for weeks, then suddenly just let go. Took 3 wobbling steps toward Claire. Fell on her padded bottom. Looked surprised. "Oh my God," Claire shrieked. "John, she walked! Aurora walked! John appeared from the kitchen and found Aurora attempting it again, this time 5 steps before tipping forward. He caught her, lifted her up. She laughed with pure delight. Brilliant girl, John said, walking at exactly 1 year old. Aurora giggled. She adored John, called him John because Jonathan was too many syllables. Lit up when he came home, demanded he read her books in funny voices. She loved Claire with pure devotion, but John was special, different, chosen family. They'd moved into the main house 3 months ago. Not officially, Claire still kept things in the guest house, but practically they lived together now. It happened gradually. Aurora's things migrating, Claire spending more nights in John's bed. The three of them eating meals together, establishing routines, becoming something that looked like a family. They still hadn't made announcements, hadn't put labels on it, just existed together building something organic. Claire's art career was thriving. The Invisible Visible series had launched her into new recognition. Galleries wanted her work. Museums inquired about retrospectives. The LA Times had called her the voice of survivors finding their power. Overwhelming and validating and terrifying all at once. Derek was mostly out of the picture. He'd tried pushing for more custody early on, but the judge shut him down. Now he showed up for twice-monthly visits, held Aurora awkwardly, then left. Aurora tolerated him but showed no attachment. It made Claire sad distantly. Aurora deserved an engaged father. But Derek wasn't that father. Probably never would be. Claire had made peace with that. Grace had written another letter, more reconciliation attempts, more justifications, more requests to see her granddaughter. Claire had responded through lawyers. Grace could have supervised visits if she completed family therapy and acknowledged her role. Grace had declined. Admitting fault was harder than losing access. Some bridges stayed burned. Claire was okay with that. "I have news," John said over breakfast, while Aurora smashed blueberries into her tray. "Good news or bad news?" "Depends. Vanessa filed an appeal." Claire's stomach dropped. "What?" "Claiming procedural errors. The prosecutor says it won't go anywhere. The conviction was solid, but the process will take time." "How much time?" 6 months to a year before it's denied. Claire processed that. A year of Vanessa still being present, even from prison. A year of looking over her shoulder. "I can't do this again," she said quietly. "I can't spend another year being afraid." John reached across, took her hand. "You're not afraid. You're careful. There's a difference. And Vanessa's not getting out. Even if the appeal succeeded, which it won't, she'd just be retried. The evidence exists. The victims are ready. She's not walking free. But the appeal means she still has power, still has a voice, for a while longer. Then she'll be gone for good. 15 years. By the time she gets out, Aurora will be in high school. Claire wanted to believe that. Aurora dropped a blueberry, looked at John, said, "Uh-oh." John smiled. "Yes, uh-oh, big mess, like everything else in life. But we clean it up and keep going." Aurora nodded seriously, then dropped another blueberry. "Oh. Deliberate that time," Claire observed. They cleaned up Aurora, finished breakfast, loaded her into the stroller for their Sunday walk. A ritual they'd established. Walk, coffee, sometimes the farmer's market, just being a family. People smiled at them, the young parents with the adorable baby. They didn't know the backstory, just saw a happy family. Claire let them assume. "Patricia called yesterday," John said. "Your lawyer, Patricia. There's a book agent interested in your story." "A book?" "A memoir, your experience with Vanessa. The other victims' stories. A larger conversation about narcissistic abuse. I don't know if I want to tell that publicly. You don't have to decide now, but think about it. It could help other women. Women who are where you were 18 months ago." Claire thought about Jennifer and Rachel and Michelle. Would their stories help someone else recognize the pattern sooner? "Maybe," Claire said. "Let me think about it." They stopped at the cafe. John ordered coffee while Claire entertained Aurora, who was more interested in the dog outside than sitting still. "Dog," Aurora pointed. "Yes, dog, big dog. Big D, small talk, normal interactions. The kind of life Claire had dreamed about during dark months. I want to say yes, Claire said suddenly, to the book, to telling the story, to helping other women see the patterns and get out sooner. John looked at her carefully. You're sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway, because maybe my story saves someone. Maybe it helps someone leave 6 months sooner. Maybe it prevents some other woman from collapsing at a family event. Maybe that's worth the discomfort. Then we'll make it happen. Aurora grabbed John's coffee. He redirected her to her sippy cup. Nice try, little one. Not baby, Aurora protested. Big girl. You're right. Big girl who walks and says words. On the walk back, John's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, then saw his expression change. Detective Hayes? They hadn't heard from her in months. John answered on speaker. Lauren, what's going on? Sorry to bother you Sunday, but I thought you'd want to know. Vanessa's appeal was just denied. Expedited review. Judge said her arguments had no merit. It's over. Completely over. Claire felt something release. Tension she'd been carrying without realizing. That was fast, John said. The prosecutor flagged it for expedited review given Vanessa's history. Judge agreed. She'll serve the full 15 years. No more appeals. Done. Thank you, Claire said, for calling, for everything. After they hung up, Claire stopped walking, just stood on the sidewalk, Aurora babbling in her stroller. It's really over, Claire said. It's really over. I don't know what to do with that. I've spent so long in crisis mode. What do I do now that the threat is gone? John smiled. Now you live. You raise Aurora. You make art. You write your book. You build a life that has nothing to do with Vanessa or Derek or any of it. You just live. Just live. Just live. Claire looked at Aurora reaching for leaves, looked at Greedy, steady and patient, looked at the neighborhood around them. Peaceful. Safe. Home. I can do that, she said. I think I can do that. You've been doing it for months. You just didn't realize it yet. They finished the walk home. Aurora fell asleep, exhausted from walking and dogs and being overwhelmed by existence. They transferred her to her crib, in the nursery they'd set up in the main house. Then they stood in the hallway, just the two of them. Thank you, Claire said, for all of it, for saving me, for letting me stay, for being patient. You saved yourself, John replied. I just held space. They went back downstairs, John to his laptop, Claire to her studio, an actual studio now, one of the spare rooms, where she could paint while Aurora napped. She stood in front of a blank canvas, thought about what came next, how to capture not the trauma, but the healing, not the falling, but the getting back up. She picked up her brush and began to paint. A woman standing in sunlight, not fading, not disappearing, just standing, present, visible, real. She called it after, because that's where she was now. After the collapse, after the trial, after the fear, after the ending, at the beginning. Christmas came with snow, unusual for LA, but the mountain communities got blanketed. Claire wanted Aurora to experience her first real winter, so they packed John's SUV and drove to a cabin near Lake Arrowhead. Just the three of them for a long weekend. Aurora was 18 months now, walking confidently, talking in 2- and 3-word sentences, developing a personality equal parts stubborn and sweet. She loved snow, wanted to taste it, roll in it, throw it. Not at John's face, Claire corrected. Gentle snowballs. Aurora considered, then gently placed snow on John's boot. Gentle. Very gentle. Well done. They built a lumpy snowman. Aurora helped by mostly getting snow everywhere. John took pictures while Claire tried to keep their daughter from eating winter. That evening, after Aurora was asleep, Claire and John sat by the fire drinking hot chocolate. I finished the manuscript, Claire said. The memoir? Yes. Sent it to the agent yesterday. She thinks we'll have publisher interest within a month. How do you feel? Terrified, exposed, like I'm putting every painful moment out for judgment, but also hopeful that it helps someone, that it turns pain into something useful. John was quiet. Then, you're brave, you know that? I don't feel brave. Brave people rarely do. They just do what needs doing despite being scared. Claire sipped chocolate, watched flames dance, Thought about the past 2 years, how far she'd come. I've been thinking, John said, about us. Claire's heart rate picked up. What about us? We've been together for a year now, really together, and I know we haven't talked about it much because you needed space and time. But Claire, I love you. I've loved you since you were 26. I never stopped. And I want us to be official, real, permanent. Permanent, Claire repeated. The word felt huge. I'm not proposing, not yet. Not until you're ready. But I'm saying I want a future with you, marriage eventually, if that's what you want. More kids, if that's what you want. Or just this, you and me and Aurora, whatever version of forever you're comfortable with. Claire felt tears building, happy tears, the kind that came with overwhelming gratitude. I want that too, she whispered. All of it, eventually, when I'm fully ready, when I've done enough therapy and healing that I can say yes without fear holding me back. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. You say that now. Wait until Aurora's a teenager. Even then, they sat in comfortable silence. Then Claire spoke again. I got a letter yesterday from Derek. John stiffened slightly. What did he want? To apologize. Really apologize. He's been in therapy. Says he finally understands how Vanessa manipulated him, how he participated in hurting me, how he failed. He's not asking for anything. Just wanted me to know he's working on himself. Do you believe him? I don't know, maybe. Does it matter? He still only gets supervised visitation. He still chose his ego over his family. Being manipulated doesn't erase that. No, it doesn't. But I wrote back, told him I appreciated the apology, that I hope therapy helps, that I want him to be a good father to Aurora even if it's just twice a month, that I'm not interested in punishing him forever. I just want to protect our daughter. That's generous. That's boundaries. There's a difference. John smiled. You've learned a lot. I've had good teachers. Aurora made a noise from the bedroom. Not crying, just sleep-talking. They waited, but she settled. She's good, John said. Healthy, happy, growing up secure and loved. That's because of you, Claire. Because you fought for her. Because you refused to let Vanessa and Derek define your worth. Because you remembered who you were. We did it together. No, you did it. I just provided space. The fighting, that was all you. Claire leaned against him, felt the solid warmth of his presence, thought about the woman she'd been 2 years ago. Invisible, disappearing, drowning, and the woman she was now. Visible, present, swimming. I'm writing a new series, she said. If here the memoir comes out, it called After, about healing, about what comes after trauma, about building a life from ashes. Sounds powerful. It's hopeful, which feels strange. My art has always been about pain and loss, but now I want to paint hope, recovery, the possibility that broken things can be put back together into something even more beautiful than before. Like you, like me, like us, like Aurora, who's growing up loved and secure because I refuse to let predators destroy our family. They stayed by the fire until it burned to embers, then checked on Aurora one last time. She was sprawled in her crib, arms above her head, completely peaceful. She's perfect, Claire whispered, like her mother. Stop saying that. I'm a mess. You're a beautiful mess. There's a difference. They climbed into bed. John pulled Claire close. She fit against him like she'd been designed for this space, like all the years apart had just been preparation for this return. John, she whispered in darkness, ask me in the spring. Ask you what? To marry you, ask me in the spring. When Aurora's 2, when the book's out, when I've had enough time that I can say yes without fear. Ask me then. She felt John's smile against her hair. Okay, spring, I'll ask you in the spring, and I'll say yes, will you? Yes, because you're not Derek. You're not intensity that consumes. You're intensity that illuminates. You make me more myself, not less. You see me completely and love me anyway. That's worth the risk. I do see you, all of you, the scared parts and the strong parts and everything between. And I love every version. They fell asleep like that, holding each other. safe in the knowledge that tomorrow would come with its own challenges, but they would face it together. Claire and John and Aurora, a family built not from fairy tales but from survival, from choosing to show up, from the daily decision to love someone despite the risk. That was better than any fairy tale. That was real. 6 months later, spring, Claire's book launched to surprising success. The memoir became a talking point, a cautionary tale, a source of recognition for women who'd experienced similar abuse. She did interviews, book signings, talked to women who cried and thanked her for putting words to their experiences, who said her story gave them courage to leave, to fight, to protect their children. It was exhausting and validating and overwhelming, but worth it. Every difficult moment worth it when someone said, "You saved me." The After series opened to rave reviews. Museums were interested, collectors were bidding. Claire's career had reached a level she'd never imagined 2 years ago. And through it all, John was there. Steady, supportive, present. Aurora was two now, talking in full sentences, opinionated about everything, still calling John, 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 and treating them both as essential components of her universe. Derek had continued his twice-monthly visits, was better now, actually trying to engage with Aurora instead of just holding her awkwardly. He'd brought books, toys, talked to her instead of at her. It wasn't much, but it was something. Aurora was starting to recognize him, not as a primary attachment figure, but as someone who existed in her life. That was probably the best they could hope for. Grace had never completed therapy, had never admitted her role. The supervised visitation offer still stood, but she'd chosen pride over access. Some bridges stayed burned. Claire had made peace with that. On a perfect April afternoon, John took Claire and Aurora to the botanical gardens. Aurora loved flowers, wanted to touch every petal, smell every bloom, declare each one pretty. They let her wander within sight while they walked hand in hand behind her. "I have something for you," John said. "Is it a flower?" Because Aurora just picked about 17. "Not a flower." He stopped walking, turned to face Claire, and Claire's heart started racing because she knew. She knew what was coming. John knelt down, right there on the garden path with Aurora, picking flowers and families walking by in perfect spring sunshine. He pulled out a ring. Antique. Beautiful. Exactly her style. "Claire Bennett, you are the strongest, bravest, most remarkable person I've ever known. You survived hell. You fought like a warrior. You protected your daughter and rebuilt your life from nothing. You took all that pain and turned it into art and words that help other people. You're extraordinary." Claire was crying. Aurora noticed, came running. "Mama sad?" "Mama's happy, sweetheart. Very happy." Aurora seemed to accept this, went back to her flowers. John continued, "I love you. I've always loved you. I waited 6 years for us to find our way back. I'll wait forever if that's what you need. But I'm hoping you don't need forever. I'm hoping you're ready now." "I'm ready. Will you marry me, Claire? Will you let me be your husband and Aurora's stepdad and your partner in every way that matters? Will you let me keep watching you bloom and grow and become more yourself every day?" "Yes," Claire said. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring on her finger, stood, kissed her while Aurora cheered because even at 2, she understood happy moments. People around them applauded. Claire didn't care, just held John close and thought about the impossible journey from that collapsed woman on the ballroom floor to this moment, this perfect, hard-won moment of choosing love instead of fear. "When?" John asked. "When do you want to get married?" "Soon. This summer. Nothing big. Just us and Aurora and the people who actually fought for us. Steph, your friends, my mom. Small, intimate, real." "Perfect." Aurora tugged on Claire's dress. "Mama, John, look, pretty flower." She held up a dandelion. Not actually a flower, a weed. But to Aurora, it was the most beautiful thing in the world. Claire took it. "Thank you, sweetheart. It's perfect." "We pretty?" "Yes, we're all pretty. We're all perfect. We're all exactly where we're supposed to be." They finished their walk. Aurora collected approximately 40 more dandelions. John and Claire made plans. Simple wedding, honeymoon when Aurora was older, life continuing forward instead of backward. That evening, Claire stood in her studio, looking at the newest painting in the After series. A family in a garden. Man, woman, child. Simple. Real. No dramatic poses or metaphorical imagery. Just three people existing together peacefully. She titled it Home because that's what it was. Home. Not the place. The people. The feeling of safety mixed with love, mixed with the daily choice to show up for each other. She'd traveled so far to get here. From the scared 26-year-old who ran from intensity, to the abused 32-year-old who thought she deserved Derek's neglect, to the warrior who fought for her daughter, to the woman who remembered her own worth and demanded it from others, to here, to home, to child and Aurora and a life she had built from ashes of the old one. Behind her, she heard Aurora's footsteps. "Mama, story time." "Coming, sweetheart." Claire put down her brush, wiped her hands, went to join her daughter and soon-to-be husband for bedtime stories and tucking in quiet moments that made up a life. As she read from Aurora's favorite book, with John sitting nearby and the house peaceful around them, Claire thought about the woman she'd been. The woman who fell on that ballroom floor. The woman who thought falling meant ending. She'd been wrong. Sometimes falling was just the beginning. Sometimes you had to collapse completely to learn how to stand on your own. Sometimes you had to lose everything to figure out what was actually worth keeping. Sometimes the billionaire ex didn't save you. You saved yourself. He just held space while you did it. And sometimes, if you were very lucky, on the other side of the fall wasn't an ending. It was just the beginning of the real story. "The end," Claire read, closing the book. "Again," Aurora demanded. "Tomorrow. Sleep now." "Love you, Mama." "Love you too, sweetheart. So much." John kissed Aurora's forehead. "Night, little one." "Night, John. They left the nursery, stood in the hallway holding hands like teenagers. "Ready for the rest of our lives?" John asked. "Ready," Claire said, and she meant it. She was finally, completely, absolutely ready.